So welcome. This is an attempt to beat the new bot Sunny, rated 1750 on chess.com. If you follow my channel, I played this bot earlier and lost. I got my ass handed to me, actually.
I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay.
I felt like I had a pretty good lead, and I really messed up the end game. Yeah, I just did not keep it together. So hopefully this ends up being my revenge game. I don't know. We're going to find out. I love playing these bots. You can always try new things. I highly recommend it. I hate moving a piece twice like that, but I try to avoid it. But I thought I would come back out here again and play outside. The weather's decent. And my opponent now has double stacked pawns, which I rather like. There is a red-headed woodpecker in the background, if you can hear it. That's what that is. If my microphone picks that up, that's a red-headed woodpecker. My wife and I enjoy watching the squirrels. We enjoy watching the birds. We do just as much squirrel watching as we do bird watching because it is difficult to keep the squirrels away, which we enjoy watching, but they go through the seed faster than the birds. Okay, so I got to get this knight developed. And like I said, I lost my last game, which I posted just before this game. So if you're curious to see, it is out there. I made it available. And hopefully this game goes a little better than the previous. Hopefully it's not too loud out here. I played my other game early in the morning and thought I was coming out fairly early. And was just running my big fat mouth. And it was cool. I had a good time, and I guess that's the main thing. That's what I always say whenever I lose a game of chess. I had a good time. That was the main thing. Sure. No, I'm kidding. It is the main thing, to have fun. But, oh, my point was, I guess I wasn't quite early enough. It was a little loud in the neighborhood, and that's okay, you know. I mean, people were starting their cars and all that. So I have to focus on this one, and I played the 1350 bot. In case you haven't seen that, just real quick, I asked my audience a question. We'll see if the audience in this video knows the answer. Birds chirping in here. Get my opponent double stacked pawns again. The person who came up with the name Walkie Talkie, what if they were in charge of naming other things? What would they call it? Like a pregnancy test. What would they call that pregnancy test if that same person was in charge of coming up with a name for a pregnancy test? It would be Maybe Baby. If they had to come up with a name for a fork, they'd call it Stabby Grabby. And a defibrillator would be Hardy Starty. And there's another one, but I can't remember what it is. What was it? Well, this is supposed to be about chess and the sounds of nature. So, let's see if we can get this turned around here. Just trying to draw out my ideas on the board, you know, that you can help people. I had someone give me some compliments and said that they really liked that. And so I try to make these videos. I share them publicly. I make them for my own records as well. Going through my own analyses, and they can help other people. That's great. Got my summertime hat on, of course, trying to bring on summertime. I think wearing the hat helps. Beautiful fork sitting there if I can do it. I hate to admit this, but because I lost my last game so badly in the end game, I'm a little nervous taking on the spot. I hate to admit it. That could be supported by the knight, but let's see what happens here. Definitely having some trouble with this robot. My problem is I'm not using my pieces together very well. and my opponent is. And this is what got me in the last one too. Of course, that's a big takeaway from chess, is use your pieces together. And I'm not doing a very good job of that, honestly. I'll admit it. Not sure how this one's going to play out, gang. You know, we'll see. We'll see. I do not like that pawn. Huh. Definitely having some difficulties here. And I'm going to play the next spot as well. I played the Rondebot, the 1350, and I made a comment in there that I felt like this is not good. I felt like she was playing better than a 1350. And somebody sent me a message on the previous bot, a couple bots back. They were playing a 1350 and thought that the bot played beyond the 1350, and I think that's true. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What was that, from the Martin family? Anyway, I played it like 4 or 5 times. I only made like 1 video on it. Maybe I made 2. I don't remember. But anyway, I ran an analysis on the games. Now here, with the dark squared bishop, I just tell myself, stay off the dark square, stay off the dark square. And you want to get your king on top of the pawns so you can promote a little more easily. But they were putting the analyses was always coming in at 1600 or 1700. I think one time it even played at 1750, and it's supposed to be at 13 or 1350. And so I told this cat on the internet who was chatting me about it. I said, I think it's stronger than 1350. And it's just a programmer's interpretation of what a person would play like at the 1350. And that's hard to do, you know. They look and say, well, how many blunders are there? And, you know, what kind of blunders would they make? Blah, blah, blah. So I'll cut the programmers some slack for sure. It's difficult to do, I would imagine. So I've got to stop my opponent's king from getting on top of their pawn and try to stay on top of my pawn at the same time. My opponent does have the dark squared bishop, but I do have 3 more pawns. So I might have to use one of these pawns to run blocker. I tried to move that. Look at that. Okay, so let's see here. Oh boy. I feel like there's something here I messed up. A stronger player could probably point it out. I think I might have to abandon these 2 pawns and swing over to the other side before my opponent's king gets there. They've got some work to do to clean up these pawns. So maybe That's the advantage of having pawns on both sides of the board. Something I always look to do in the end game. It's just going to take. So maybe I can get to the other side of the board and not have another loss. This is a tricky situation. I am going to be playing the next spot. I think it's rated 2000. I haven't played it yet. I wanted to take revenge for the last game. And, okay, so here is, it ain't over yet, but I am on top of my pawns, and the king is on the other side of the board. So this looks good for me as long as I have proper play. I've had lots of times where I should have won games, and I just royally screw them up because of, I don't know, being a splatter ass, I guess. It happens to me, especially. I thought about taking that pawn. I wonder if I should have. Like pawn captures pawn. Let's see. Okay. Stepping down to hop over there. Prevent me from castle. Okay, now this is looking a little more promising. Now I'm going to try to I'm going to queen. Just let it happen. Why don't you let it happen? My opponent's king is way too far out of the action. And so, yeah. We'll just do this, then take the queen, and then I'll, oh, they don't. Okay. I thought for sure they were going to take the queen. But then I was going to get another one. So, I mean, there's no way out. I think a real person would have resigned by now. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to cut my opponent off. In game, try to build a box that gets smaller and smaller. And, you know, the king is trapped down there. So I'm going to be back to deal with that here in just a minute. So let's get rid of this. And now I want to push that king down to the bottom rank. And there we go. So now my opponent's going to go for a stalemate. And so I want to make sure my opponent has a square to go to. They're going to go for a stalemate. Okay, so let's watch out for that. King has to come in. I got a chance to make the box a little smaller, so I'm going to. All right, and yet again, now there's two squares right there that my opponent can just hop back and forth. So this helps me avoid the stalemate action, okay? So now my king's going to swing in, and this is going to be all over. So, hey, thanks for watching. I am going to play the next spot, so stay tuned for that. It'll be exciting, I hope. And so this is my revenge game. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.